Okay, says we are live. I think we are a little bit crooked though. Is that a little bit better? I don't know. Anyway, hello, how are we? We are hopefully going to get a good bit done today. Also, it is a full moon today. So if you are inclined, if you are so inclined, don't forget that since it is a full moon, if you are inclined to do the tarot spreads, make sure you grab your tarot deck at some point today. And yeah. Okay. So we have a good bit of chat. Looks like card pulls mostly from just prior to the stream. So Kara is here. Hello. Cats Against Anxiety. Keep going one step at a time. And suggestion, write down 3 things that you're grateful for. There you go. And then from the Enchanted Map deck, number 44, Strength. Your true strength comes not from self-reliance alone, but from sincere faith. Interesting. I'm curious to know if you do like a traditional tarot pull, whether or not you would get the Strength card today. Monique says, thanks for the encouragement. It is good encouragement, yes. And good news, Monique is recovering from your cough and congestion. That is good news. I'm curious, in Texas, do y'all have, like, is the air basically pollen? Because here in Georgia, that's like you walk outside and it's hazy because you can basically see the pollen in the air as it is waiting to settle on something. You're able to do yoga and take a shower this morning. Excellent. Good. Good, good. Okay, so Tarot, Midnight Magic, Ace of Wands, Burn More. This is a card of good news or the start of a creative endeavor. Yes, Burn More arises from is it burn more exclamation or burn morel like the mushroom? Arises from scorched earth to fruit into harbingers of an upcoming feast. I'm assuming, okay, probably morel. I read that wrong. Monique says, hey, y'all. Hello. Welcome. Elizabeth says, hi, everybody. Hello. Welcome. Monique says, today we had rain, so hopefully that cleared the air somewhat. That would be nice. Yeah, we have not had rain in a number of weeks at this point. The ground is starting to look a little dry despite the humidity. I'm not actually sure if we're due for any rain in the near future. Ooh, Saturday, Sunday, 55% chance and then 80% chance. So we may get some rain this weekend. May. Happy April Fool's Day, by the way. Happy April Fools if you participate in that. Yes. I've never been much for like pranks because I find that most of the pranks that I have seen people do are often quite mean-spirited. Like I don't mind, a joke or whatnot, but I find that oftentimes pranks tend to be at someone's expense. And so I've never really had a huge desire to like participate in that or be the one that's pranked. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I see a couple of things like on social media where I'm like, ooh, that's a red flag. And then other things, like there's a particular couple that they film themselves and they are like shooting balloons full of watered down shaving cream, and like it seems to be an equal, like the husband gets the wife, the wife gets the husband, and then they clean up together after the fact. And they always seem like they're in good spirits about it. So I appreciate when both members of whatever prank is going on are, one, consenting, and two, sort of on the same wavelength about it. So that's nice. Okay. Let's see. I pulled out the True Black deck because I feel like that's the one that I need to pull for today for myself. But that just sort of makes me want to go look at the ephemeral, essentially, but without the L, deck that the same artist has put out. So I got the True Black deck because I saw Chandra Arthur. By the way, her book released yesterday, Mother Mercy. So make sure you check that out. So she had these. I think she was the first person I saw that had them. And they're just stinking gorgeous. Just like very, very gorgeous. And there's some of the decks have, some of the cards. So they're like a gloss and matte texture, which is really interesting. So like not all of them have the high gloss, but some of them do. So like this one, the Chariot, has some gloss down at the bottom, which is, I think, an astrological significant alignment. And I'm trying to remember, I don't remember off the top of my head what it is, but are you going to focus? Anyway. And then again, for the star, you have the gloss that adds to sort of like the texture of the card. They're gorgeous. So this was the first deck, and it's called the True Black deck. And then the same artist put out a sort of like a sister deck, I would say, that is a light version. It's not the same images, but let's see if I can. True Black Tarot. Okay, here we go. Screen. Again, I'm not affiliated. I paid my own money for it. Will probably pay my own money for the other. So so yeah, so you can see the black deck, and then trying to remember where. Here we go. So the ephemer. I don't know. I always want to say just ephemer because it's a variant or a conjugation of ephemeral. But so the cards are different, new art, but it's also gorgeous. So yeah, in case you need another deck in your life, another expensive deck in your life. But anyway, so I saved up for a while to buy this one, but I also like the lighter deck. I have one that is not exactly the same, but it has similar color palette. So I'm like, do I need another one that's the same color palette? And I don't need it, but yes, today is the full moon. Yes. Which is one of the reasons why I pulled my tarot cards out, because I need to do a spread for the full moon. Diane says to Monique, oh wow, did not know that. Yes, tis the full moon and Passover. Like all the things. Yeah. Because Easter is this weekend and all the things. Okay. Let's see. What do we need? We need the cats. We need a card. What else do we need? Do we need to set a goal for today? I'm going to be brainstorming a new short story. Brainstorming, potentially outlining. I'm not sure if I'm going to get that far. But we will see how impatient I get. So, yeah, the cards are gorgeous, but 99 is the price. Yeah, and I would agree with that because, and they have raised their price since I bought the True Black. So that would definitely be something that I would have to budget for. So, okay. Anyway, Serene Kitties, the snuggle is real, and this is the one that I accidentally ripped the other day. They're so cute though, and they look so warm and cozy, and just like they'd probably be either purring or snoring, one or the other, maybe both at the same time. And then we have some days require scream therapy, and that's just the truth. So, trying to decide if, after showing my husband the underpainting, he says, "What is that of?" Can it be legal grounds for divorce in your state? I don't know. It depends. It depends on if he brings you chocolate later, or wine, or some other thing. I don't know. Will he bring you snacks? Does he know that he upset you when he said that? Did he do it on purpose? I don't know. Cards would make a great gift for someone, though. Yes. Yeah. And not just that deck, but any deck. If you know that the person is into tarot and that it's like either a cool deck that you think they would like. Oh, he knows. Oh no. Oh no. He's doing it on purpose. He's doing it on purpose, y'all. Okay, we need to shuffle the deck. Which, since they're so big, that's my one problem with a lot of the decks, the Oracle decks, is that they are quite large and do not shuffle well. But sadly, you think he meant it. Oh no! Can't. So it's like I don't know what your underpainting looks like. Is it a more abstract, or because I don't know. Some of my artist friends, when they did what they would consider like the underpainting to get the colors for the contrast, it was very abstract looking. Some of my other artist friends, like I thought they were done, and turns out that was just their like a layer. And he's either being obtuse or trying to sabotage you. It's a portrait. Ooh. It is April 1st. So like as Monique says, it is April Fool's Day. I don't know. I don't know. But to your question is whether or not that is grounds for legal divorce. You might have to consult a lawyer on that one because I do not know. Okay, I pulled the rabbit. The rabbit. Now is a lucky time. We have our lovely rabbit, which is appropriate for springtime, right? Sorry, Whiny, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. I think it's a valid complaint because you've been working on the painting, and having somebody disparage your efforts is never fun. So Monique pulled the Four of Pentacles from your Buffy Tarot deck. Fours are boundaries, pentacles like physical health, could be monetary. Trying to remember off the top of my head, and the keywords in my brain are escaping me. View, navigation pane, pentacles 4. Oh, okay. So it's warning about balance and proportion. Can be a card of the miser, unwillingness to share. If it's upright, sort of like that material gain, possessiveness over that, sort of like managing whatever assets there are, borders, self-protection, boundaries. Could be sort of like too much boundary, too much isolation, if that makes sense. Okay. Bunnies. Now is a lucky time. Sunny Meadow calls, and the rabbit appears to lead you out of your dark warren into the light so that you can participate in a fertile and beautiful experience. It may seem safe below ground, but the magic happens when you come out and take a risk of being vulnerable and creating something new. You are being invited into a new life that you have no experience with, but have no fear. Today is also a time to be fruitful and productive as you enjoy the rabbit's sunny and prolific energy. At this time, whatever you intend to bring to life will find fertile ground. There are no mistakes, really, when you are creating with the universe, so let new ideas spring to the surface, knowing that now is a lucky time of tremendous possibility. I like it. I like it. So, that's a good card. Okay. So now we need to get busy and do work, right? Where is the document I had open earlier? Here it is. Back. Here we go. Okay. So make sure you pull your document up, or make sure you save it if you've not already. Words. Pull your document up, and if you've already been working, make sure you save it. There we go. Ugh, my brain is not braining today. Okay. We need a timer. We need a timer. Here we go. Okay, let's do this. I think my goal is, one, I need to do the Terra pool. I could do that later. Let's do that later. Let's actually work today. Work the whole time. That's the goal. I'm going to work the whole time and see how much I can get done on this brainstorm and into the outline. Okay. 1, save your document. 2, take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure it's not slouching too much. And 4 is make sure if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, sorry, apologies for being late. I'm back from that. Okay. I always feel like writing short stories, like the process of them should be easier because it's like not as much, but I feel like it's always harder for me because then I feel like I have to rein in so much of my like, well, what if I had this? Like, what if I world build this into it? And so I always feel like I'm kind of constrained when I am doing shorter pieces. Sometimes that's very good because it allows me to get to the point. But the process of that feels like I'm making my brain be a contortionist, if you will. So I'm trying my best because I need to get better at like completing the things and in a much more timely fashion. And so I've set myself a goal for this quarter of doing a couple of short stories. And so I'm like trying to get my brain into like short story mode. And I'm not having a huge amount of success. Maybe I ought to be reading more short stories rather than long, giant, epic things. So that's sort of where I am at the moment is, and I'm trying to do this in a way that like the short story is still part of the universe, but like how do I include, you know, enough of the world building to make it clear that it's part of the same universe, but also not like overdue. So that's where I am for like struggling with the and maybe it's because I am going into this going, you must write a shorter story. And my brain is my rebel brain, as Jesse Crane calls it, is like, no, we want to write everything and make it longer, make it bigger, make it a series, make it, you know. And I'm like, no, we need to like compact it. So anyway, how y'all doing? How are you doing? Also, I think yes, here we go. I missed this earlier. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know if StreamYard or YouTube was doing its thing. But anyway, so Diane is doing a series of paintings of angry women to represent today's politics. Very fair. You haven't painted in a bit because of the move and everything else. So your husband's comment was not what you needed to hear. Understandable. Kara says, Four of Pentacles is very relevant to my situation with getting ready to sell your parents' house and working with your son to manage the assets. 300,000 sounds like a lot of money, but that's deceiving. Yeah, because a lot of it is tied up. There's going to be taxes, potentially. And if that 300,000 is like everything all together, that includes the house, includes any accounts left. Yeah, because you still have to pay the lawyers and the realtors for the house deal. Anything that you have to pay for prepping the house as it was, like if it needs new paint, if it needs repairs, that kind of stuff, that's gonna come out. So yeah, so it's never quite as much as it seems on paper. It just never is. Just never is. Monique says, if anyone here is free to chat, I need help. Help with what? What can we help with? $300,000 sounds deceptive. You have to check how much houses are selling for now and what your parents bought the house for. Yeah. Also, what upgrades, comparable houses, and just like, is the market good in your area at the moment, or in your parents' house area at the moment. Monique says, anyway, what I need help with right now is the final fight in my novel. You're not going to write out the chapter at the moment, but you do need some idea of what's going to be happening. Okay, so you are in brainstorming, possibly outlining mode, sort of logistics of the final fight. One thing on your mind is a character named Chloe. She's Gabby's friend and a minor character. Okay. Why is she on your mind? Does she need to be sacrificed for the book? Are you going to kill her off? What's happening? Why are we thinking about Chloe? You just realized that as a fairy, Susie would probably have extra magical powers. That could be the key to turning the fight in your character's favor, right? Andy is here. Hello. Slapping the like button before you have a drink and get your workout going. Excellent. Diane says to Monique, sorry, you would have chatted, but you switched windows to answer emails. We just bought a house 2 months ago. So yeah, you've got emails and things. Yeah. By the way, a local business just built affordable housing, quote unquote, in our small town. You think they've built 9 so far, $180,000 essentially. To you, that's not affordable, but that is honestly like half the price of what is the current like average. Because most of the time, what I see is like 350. So 180 in that kind of market seems a lot more affordable. But yeah, it's still ridiculous. Hence why you bought a small, older fixer-upper. Hubby would like to retire someday. Yeah. Diane wants to know if Kara's son is executor or if you are. So Monique is currently figuring out Susie's powers and how they're going to manifest and how you could turn that into your advantage during that fight. Yes, good. Diane says, I would ask a friend that's a realtor about actual value if you haven't already. Yeah. Yeah, the only other thing is that like if you are not going to use your friend as a realtor, like make sure realtors are odd in that sometimes, depending on their personality, they are more than happy to help you with just like advice and like, you know, chat about actual value and suggest things. Other times they're like, I don't want to talk unless we have a contract or unless you are actually going to give me a contract. You know, that kind of thing. We have been the realtor that we went with, Mom had essentially like she interviewed 2 different realtors for selling our old house. And one lady was relatively new, but she was very nice, very nice. And honestly, I think we should have gone with her. The other lady was more experienced. Her husband was a contractor. Her son did the photos. Like, you know, her husband was also the like broker. And she was a cousin of my sister-in-law's. So somehow, I don't. Anyway, I don't know if she was the actual cousin or if her husband was the husband. I don't know. Anyway, because of the connection to family, we went with the second lady. And it was kind of like pulling teeth to like get her to do her job. And it dragged on for far too long. So it was like, and she, anyway, there was a whole bunch of things that went wrong. We essentially, partly due to her suggestion, accepted an offer from a couple that did not have their taxes done yet. They were waiting for the extension to come back. And then turns out he filed the extension, but then never filed the taxes. And so anyway, but because of that, we had like a 3-month wait during peak season that we were tied up in a contract, and it did not go anywhere. And she didn't really do much for us in terms of, we had to go look for the comps, and it was like suggesting like, well, we have a garage and we have a bonus room above the garage. Why are you not listing that as part of the comparable assets of the house type of thing? So it was not great. So you have to make sure that the realtors that you talk to, especially if you have a personal connection to them, one, are going to have your best interests at heart, and two, are going to, you have to be sure of what you expect out of them, and you have to communicate that and make sure that they are going to rise to your expectations. I'll shut up about realtors now. Monique says she has healing abilities, and right now you're writing that as a fairy, she has powers that are tied to nature. Okay, excellent. Diane has stepped away to get tarot cards. You need a good one today. Hopefully so. Monique says, I'm thinking that right now Susie has the power to create light, including hard light. Are you thinking like laser beam burns? Lightsabers? What you thinking? Low income area, got up and came back, forgot to get the cards. Oh no! Valid point about the realtor though. Yeah. CB is here. Hello. Just got back from the cinema. How was it? I hope it was good. If anyone plans to see Super Mario Galaxy, make sure you stay till the very end of the end credits. Okay. So they have a scene there. Gotcha. Rachel is here. Hi, everybody. Hello. Welcome. I'm just getting back to your desk. Excellent. Y'all make sure you check out Rachel's Instagram for the schedule of who is doing the Break the Block lives, like which channels they're going to be hosted on. Make sure you check out Rachel's post about that. It was great. Good. I am glad. Diane says you covered up the oil paint on the palette after putting a cotton ball with clove oil in it. Oh, we'll see if it's still good to use tomorrow. Oh, okay. I was just going to ask, like, is that the typical oil? Because I don't think I've heard that as the, what is the typical oil that you would use to cover it and keep it moist? Because I've heard linseed oil, but I don't think I've heard clove oil, so I don't know. But again, I am ignorant of oil painting, so I don't know what goes into it. But yeah, okay, let's do another sprint. That way I can stop yapping at y'all, and y'all can maybe not listen to the neighbor's lawn care. And we can get some more work done. All right, let's squash the rubber chickens with our work, shall we? Let's do it. Okay, during the second sprint, make sure that you are doing your self-promo. Make sure you are following and subscribing to people, and make sure that you are answering the poll. The poll for today is, what is one thing that your main character is going to find during this work in progress that you're working on? Are they going to find answers to the past? Are they going to find family, whether that's biological family or family of the heart? Are they going to find a sense of self or a sense of independence? Or are they going to find courage or love or some other like abstract emotion? By the way, we love the rubber chicken. Excellent. Use walnut oil as medium, okay? But you have heard that a cotton ball with clove oil and the oil paint will keep it from drying out, so you're testing it. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, so CB says that's it cinema-wise for you until Spider-Man. The kids go back to school here August 12th, so that's the day you're going to go see Spider-Man. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Okay, let's do this. 1, save your document. We'll see how much more I can get done. 2, take a sip. 3, straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is, if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that was the second sprint. Gonna be honest, I'm still struggling over here to get a clear idea of what I want to happen in this short story. I think maybe it's because it feels like a story that I ought to write rather than a story that I necessarily want to write. So I'm gonna try. It's like because I need to be able to like push through this and write, but also like I have other things that I would rather be writing. So I feel like I should try and like work through and like push through and get this story ideas like straightened out. Um, at least that way I have that sort of in my brain. Um, but I also just want to like set it to the side and like work on something different. So I'm like, meh, which one do I do? Anyway, so I'm making a little bit of progress, but it doesn't feel like a whole lot. I got maybe like 175 words. I also, because my brain was trying to wander and not think of this, I remembered that I forgot to take out the soup from the freezer. So I have some minestrone, however you pronounce it, soup that was Bestie had sent me that was like pre-prepped in a frozen block. Um, and I just have to like take it out and put it in a crock pot for like 2 to 4 hours. So I meant to take that out at like 2. But wound up being a little late there, but that's okay. I also struggled because we have like a big crock pot and then we have a small crock pot. And the small crock pot is great for doing like small things, but the pre-prepped packages are like squares. So they are too big in every direction to fit in the crock pot as is. So you have to defrost them some in order to like be able to cut it or break it, break it into quarters or whatever to be able to put it in the small crock pot. So I had to defrost it in a hurry. Thank goodness for microwaves. So anyway, let's check on what y'all did. Oops, there we go. Monique says, self-promo, I'm part of a sci-fi/fantasy bundle for Autism Awareness Month. Nice. And here is the itch link for the autistic science fiction fantasy, a little romance and more. Nice. Diane says, after hubby's comment, you don't really feel like too driven to keep going, so you're switching tasks. Gotcha. He ruined your mood. Oh no. Kara says, I have new book promos up on Reader's Roost. Excellent. You also have new posts up on Substack, naughty netherworldpress.substack.com. And Kara has a new video up on YouTube. Ooh, nice. There we go. Let's see. I have nothing other than the fact that I struggled. I struggled, but I am here and I did a little bit more, so I'm taking the win where I can. So I'm going to try again this sprint, and I may wind up handwriting. I don't know. We'll see. Because sometimes thoughts flow better when I'm just handwriting. So I may pull out one of my notebooks and just right away. But yeah. Okay, let's do one more sprint, and we'll do the Devil and Angel Rubber Duckies. Share screen. Here we go. There's Brent. Okay. All right. So 1, save your document. 2, make sure you have something to hydrate with. Go ahead and take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure not slouching too much. And 4 is if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I have to accept the fact that I cannot spell. The typos are everywhere, but that's okay. I did get a little bit more maybe ironed out, maybe. I think I'm gonna set this aside for the afternoon and maybe contemplate it a little bit more over tonight and tomorrow, and sort of see what I can figure out in terms of how to straighten this mess up. And then come Friday, make a decision about whether to ignore this idea and move on to something else or stick with it. So we'll see. We will see. And so this evening I will work on a different project just to kind of clear my brain a bit. So yeah, that is what will be happening there. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. So what's the one thing our main character is going to be finding in the work in progress? 50% say family, whether that's biological family or family of the heart. 30% say that their main character is finding a sense of self or a sense of independence. 10% are finding answers to the past, and 10% are also finding courage / love or some other abstract emotion. Family and Books popped in to say hey to everybody and booped the like button. And Nicola snuck in here and lurked, said hello. Thousand Great Book says, I wanted to choose all the options. Yeah, unfortunately, we are limited to just 4 options. I wish there was a 5th because then I could do like all of the above, but oh well. Oh well. All right. Well, 'tis 3:15. I'm going to go stir the soup and see how it's doing in the last like 30 minutes, how much it's thawed in the crock pot. And then I will come back and I'm going to do my tarot reading, and then I'm going to work on editing. So, and then I'll have dinner and then figure out if I still want to edit afterwards. But yeah, so make sure you check the authortube spreadsheet for sprints that are this afternoon and evening. And yeah, so thank you very much. Don't forget to save. Make sure you are backing up your projects because it's now the 1st of the month. So make sure you're doing that. Funky slipping in right at the end. Wow. Did you have a meeting, Funky? Did it run long? Did they take all of your coffee away? So you're now running behind. Is that what happened? Thanks for the sprints. You're welcome. You're welcome. Funky says, didn't know I'd still catch you in time. You did. Just barely. Just barely. But yeah, crazy meetings. I was so upset with Hovey. It was just the chair on top. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hopefully you can do something that will help you relax this evening. And yeah. Hopefully he will be better in the future about that. So, all right. Thank you very much. Don't forget to save, and I will see y'all soon. All right. Bye.